Ladies and gentlemen, I was most touched to have been asked to say a few words at your annual dinner and can only apologise for appearing in such a disembodied form. Now, I was intrigued to hear that the theme of your annual convention last month was game changers because, for me, you're all very much on the front line with a unique opportunity to act as the catalyst for change and to establish a more sustainable approach to long-term economic and human activity. Amidst the emerging and devastating impacts of climate change, already evident in many parts of the world, it has never been more important for the business fraternity to recognize its increasingly vital role within society. What you all do as directors of enterprises around the country not only drives the economy, it is pivotal to creating healthy, stable, and resilient communities. It is this stability, or the perception of it, which attracts so many investors to this country. But such stability has to be worked at and maintained, which is why I believe that the world of business can play such a crucial part in helping to build resilience and skills and a better environment in many of our more deprived and struggling communities. It can do this in partnership with the public, NGO and grassroots community sectors. This is why I became president of business in the community some 30 years ago. It is why I have ceaselessly urged a better, more holistic or integrated approach to the way in which we plan, design and build genuine communities and not the conventional zoned soulless housing estates, which has meant that we end up with ghettos for poor people and ghettos for rich people, with separate business, industrial, commercial and residential ghettos. Taking a genuinely sustainable approach to urban development means that the human being is placed at the center of the design process and not the car, that local identity, culture, community interests and the natural environment are given due consideration, and that the resulting mixed-use, mixed-income development ensures that you add social, environmental and commercial value. This is not rocket science, and it works. I know. I've been practicing this approach for the past 25 years. More and more organizations are also beginning to see that thinking about sustainability is necessary if they are to future-proof themselves. And it is becoming more and more possible to demonstrate that sustainability and healthy profit margins are not mutually exclusive. Many companies are taking inspiration from the concept of a circular economy. In other words, an industrial economy that moves beyond the linear take, make, dispose model that has eroded so much of our natural wealth and undermines our well-being, to a new system that restores natural, financial and social capital by design. Companies, for instance, like Royal DSM, which are part of my corporate leaders group on climate change, are applying this thinking to redesign their business models, directly or indirectly, taking inspiration from the complex living systems around us. DSM has now developed commercial-scale biofuel production, enabling the sustainable production of green energy and bio-based materials from agricultural waste or residues. Approaches like this will help to reduce our addiction to fossil resources and can mitigate the impact the use of fossil resources has on the climate and our planet. Now, I could tell you countless stories of businesses, small and large, which are taking this line of thinking further and are not only committed to developing resilient supply chains, but also to strengthening the communities in which they operate. They are doing what they can to ensure that the value they create is shared by supporting apprenticeship schemes or by offering their professional skills to struggling communities. All have been surprised by the result, that not only is it the right thing to do, but it drives innovation within the business itself, enables it to remain competitive, and improves long-term viability. In short, they realize that doing good in business is actually good for business. I do very much believe that a cultural shift is occurring, that businesses will increasingly play a significant role in tackling the ever-increasing environmental and social threats to economic stability, and that it will become the norm for businesses and their investors to think beyond the next financial quarter in order to have in mind their impact on the next quarter of a century. So I can only urge you all to join in this movement and to play your part in whatever way you can. Your involvement could make an enormous difference in terms of establishing a genuinely sustainable future for our businesses, our communities, and for the world in general.